And in game 1 by R7. So is it Ziggs ban or Shyvana ban?
It's got to be Shyvana.
They leave Ziggs up, which is, I really thought it would be the Vi. I think they're afraid of the fight engage from Levi, but Ziggs can provide the same issue just in a different way if they decide to pick it later. But it's first pick Rumble once again, so R7 could actually take the Ziggs if they want to.
Yeah, just right back to the Rumble. And I'm so curious now, what is Summit's answer going to be? Because such a key part of their early game, of their victory against 100 Thieves, was that he was dominant in lane. You know, and it was, the sniper was just blind picking Ksante, and they were putting him on tank duty, and Summit was able to take advantage of that. So maybe he'll have a different pick here to be able to answer Kiaya's Rumble, who really did keep him in check, but it is going to be the Ziggs coming out so far.
Either way, I do actually like this tweak by R7, because if they are forcing, if basically they're expecting GAM to first pick Rumble again, and one, that means that they can get the Ziggs that they had themselves banned in game 1, but Rumble Ziggs wouldn't have been a good combo anyway. So I do like them getting rid of the Shyvana, but then also opening up their own power pick to be able to take early in the draft.
Spicy hotpot coming through. The Jarvan locked in, the Cataclysm plus the Ziggs ult. Very powerful combo here. And if you lock Jhin into that, you are asking to die, but EasyLove is going to go for it. And honestly, EasyLove, he farmed well, but he didn't really have to do much in the last game. He was not a big factor besides getting one shot by Keine and giving us some reaction gifs on Twitter.
EasyLove was such an AD carry experience last game on MF. Just farms all game, one shot by Syndra, and then thrown onto Jhin for the next game.
Like, what if you were further back with your ult?
Same situation. This is actually better than MF, for sure. Because at least the Jhin can give the utility.
Is it going to be the Summit Jayce? You know, this and the Gnar are the two champions I always think of when I think of Summit.
It's locked in.
And it is going to get locked in. This is, you know, one of those champions that he can dominate lane on. Didn't really get it done on the Gnar as far as that 1v1 was concerned. Kiaya really held him to a stalemate. And I think that was such a key part of their game.
Yeah, it's... I was actually going to say it jokingly when you're like, what does he do? I was like, well, it's Gnar or Jayce. Those are some of his champions. And it is still true.
He's not a one trick. He has a second trick.
Yeah, and he's super good on these champs.
He is incredible on those champions, and he can play other stuff, of course. But you know, he really is. He's been the same player his whole career. Like, incredibly lane dominant, but tends to die to ganks, tends to get caught inside lanes. You know, those are his weaknesses. You really know what you're going to get with Summit, but you're getting some really powerful strengths. It is going to be Sejuani as the ban. They're worried about that pairing with the double melee soul laners that have already been drafted, and I think that is a smart ban from this spot. And also, interestingly, they are going to be banning out the Poppy, who, you know, I didn't really feel was a big part of the win in the previous game, but I will say he was on point with his steadfast presences. He was, you know, interrupting Oddie a lot, so maybe that was kind of the frustration, was Oddie didn't feel like he could get in and make the fights happen.
He was very tricky to pin down, and I think against the Jarvan, it's just a smart ban when you know that the other team is comfortable playing Poppy. It also opens up things like Rell, so it's just going to allow them to actually engage.
Now, I'm really curious, are they going to go for a bit more setup now for Kiaya? Last time, they didn't have it, but as it turned out, they didn't need it. So, Rell has been taken away. Leona is banned out. You could go towards something like an Alistar or a Nautilus if you do want those types of engage supports. That's kind of the meta for most teams these days, is you just kind of pick one of those. Levi, Wukong is up, and he's going to grab it, and they're going to pick another option here with the Rakan. So some very powerful engage this time around on the GAM side, and much more lockdown and setup for both Emo and Kiaya to really succeed with.
And it's also, I'd say Rakan, a little bit weaker in lane.
Oh, it's going to be Jayce mid.
Way more reach in terms of being able to get to the back line. I guess it will actually be Jayce mid.
Yeah, it's going to be Jayce mid, and they're going to go Ksante fifth pick here for Summit.
It could be Ksante mid. They have until 20 seconds on the timer to trade it back. We're at 40 seconds right now.
I'm assuming it's going to be Summit playing the Ksante, which is kind of un-Summit-like, to be honest. But, I mean, everyone plays a ton of Ksante, let's be honest. This champion has been so strong for really the entire time since it came out. So people definitely do play a lot of it. But Keine, I am expecting to play that Jayce, and I think we're far enough in. Honestly, I can't tell because we don't have the exact number on the screen.
I got it on my screen. We're past 20 seconds just now, so this is going to be it. Summit on the Ksante. I wouldn't have minded to see the Ksante mid, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure exactly how that matchup would go. The one thing I will say is, it's a lot.
Actually, for Rainbow 7, the manner in which they lost that first game, just being behind in tempo pretty much the entire time, still securing Soul, but never really finding a single good team fight. So GAM, I think, is just going to be having so much confidence and momentum after that game 1, because there were little things that we were seeing, even in the laning phase from GAM, willing to take risks on small things and getting away with it, playing on the margins. Kiaya as well, not losing lane to Summit. Someone who's beaten pretty much everyone in lane. Now going up against his Ksante, which if he gets ahead could still punish the Rumble, but I'm expecting GAM to continue to keep up their aggressive style of play.
Absolutely. I mean, I think more so than last game, I'm expecting a lot more fighting. Kiaya also going first strike on the Rumble, which is an interesting adaptation here. You're playing against a tank. You're just going to try to farm some gold off of him. If you feel like, hey, I don't really think I can punish him a lot with, the Comet, then just go for first strike. Just try to farm a little bit more gold, complete those items that much faster. As Oddie does spot the ward getting dropped on his Raptor, so it does at least have that information. But Lyonz, of course, unable to come up there and sweep it out because it's too late.
There was a small chance that R7 would have gone for a swap, and I think that would have definitely surprised GAM because they have the type of team comp for it, but definitely just decide to go standard lanes. And I think GAM is going to be completely fine with this. From what we've seen so far, Levi, very comfortable, kind of power farming up until level 6, leaving his laners to fend for themselves, and the whole team is pretty good at that.
Yep, nice little trade there from Lyonz, but of course, Rakan, if you can hit those Qs, those Gleaming Quills, you are going to be healing back up pretty effectively. So if you're trying to bully this lane, have to be dodging those Qs, and that one does connect. So going to be going pretty much right back to full. As Keine just going in the melee form and going to the skies to get a nice little trade there onto Emo. Really wants to keep him down early.
And this will be the big question. How well can Keine punish this Yone? We did think Yone was going to be one of the biggest picks at this World Championship. Still might be, but I've definitely seen it get fairly punished early by a couple of different picks. We saw Maples Akali do it a couple times on day one. Even the Cinder was punishing it fairly well, and we're really going to see how much damage this Jayce can do. Early on, it looks like he's able to weave in a lot of damage without Emo being able to retaliate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always interesting, right? Because these kind of matchups, you have to know you're going to lose really going into it. But if you can lose gracefully, you can have so much power later on. It's such a powerful pick. Allows you to really get in there with the Soul Unbound. That's what really makes the champion, is that you don't have to throw your body all the way in and fully commit to actually get an all-in play, right? Yasuo has to like ult into the backline to do it, and you could just get first down. King can always snap back with the E.
And also, I think the Jayce needs to do a lot of work in lane, because if you're a Jayce going up against Rakan, Wukong, Rumble later on in the game, it's a pretty hard life. There's a lot of things that can really just shut you down. I mean, even Wukong, if he gets a little bit ahead, would have a chance to just solo kill the Jayce at the back end of a fight. So he really needs to do a lot of work in this early game, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if they can get that push. Nice shock blast there, empowered. Levi heading down towards that bottom side here as EasyLove and Elio are in the area, and both junglers are going to be spotting each other.
It's risky for Levi to be here because Jayce has so much prio mid, but there's no smite on Oddie, so he has to just give it up. That's unfortunate.
And as soon as you use the flag and drag and then you see him, there's no chance you can win the skirmish either, so it's just time to run. So I think smart from Oddie to just give that up. Of course, it will give Levi some more tempo. He gets the faster recall and is going to be back out on the map here a lot faster.
Pretty nice play, though, from Keine early on. 11 CS advantage in the first 4 waves.
Yeah, doing a really good job, and we'll see if we can kind of maintain that advantage, keep pushing it forward. People getting really low. That empowered shock blast could have been dangerous if it did connect there from Keine, but Keine also getting quite low here himself, so he's going to have to take a recall. And this is going to give Emo a chance to be able to at least farm this up and then potentially walk back to lane. It'll be interesting to see if Keine wants to actually TP back and keep that pressure on.
Levi might be trying to get a cheeky gank into Summit here. He will be spotted if he goes over that wall. I mean, Kiaya is in such a fine spot. It would literally just be trying to gank for the 300 gold, and Levi decides it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, exactly. Levi had a little bit of time before his Romp and Wolves did respawn, so he's like, you know what, I'll take a look, see if there's an angle. There wasn't, so he's right back to farming, playing for that efficiency game that he is really well known for. Always has been a bit of a power farmer, loves playing these carry-style junglers, and he's such a strong team fighter that it has really kind of made his career playing that style.
And you can tell the team is really comfortable playing that style as well. Those types of players don't generally mesh well when you have someone who just loves playing counter picks or something. Like, you can see all these lanes are generally safe, and these guys are not playing the lanes in places where the wave is getting frozen against them and they need the jungler to come bail them out. Like, they're all very good laners in their own right. The CS disadvantage at the last recall was only 9 for Emo when he's almost hit level 6 with the Dorn Shield, the Vamp Scepter, 2 health potions, and Fleet Footwork, so his sustain is going to be quite high.
Yep, and both supports kind of seeing if there's any sort of an angle here as Keine takes a lot of damage, but is going forward. And Shadow Blast nicely sidestepped there by Emo. Elio going to have to jump back to his teammate, but will help to keep him safe. So going to be able to farm this up and just use that Vamp Scepter to try to sustain through this. And with Jayce taking another base, I feel like Emo's gotten through a lot of the hardest part of the early game here, and he's in a pretty darn good spot. Yeah,
there were a couple of empowered Shock Blasts that fell to the side that really could have made life hard for Emo, but he was able to dodge both of those. So pretty clutch. That allows Levi to hit level 5, and we are moving up towards Grubs for a potential fight. Seo has teleport, so GAM needs to be a little careful starting this because they could be at a numbers disadvantage soon.
Yeah, and Keine did just get that recall off, so he's going to be a little bit more powerful potentially, but he is on a cull and a tier, so not exactly the most threatening of items there for the Jayce in the early game.
Levi's got to get out of there.
Levi at least will get one. Kiaya does have first move, but it's just going to be the one. I think they're going to call that heist and probably back off. Both bot laners have moved up to mid, though.
Yeah, exactly. Jhin's followed all the way up. They might look for a pick.
Yeah, they're going to be going in, and the Ziggs is in trouble. The curtain call has come out. Lyonz able to body block. They did get the flash off of Seo. Now the equalizer comes down. It's not quite in the right spot. Emo trying to go forward and finish him off. Nice sidestep from Seo, but it's first blood for Kiaya. And is it even more? It looks like it. It's a flash out from Lyonz, but Levi is there trying to chase him down, and EasyLove comes in. 1, 2, 3, fourth shot gets the kill.
Somehow during that fight, Levi ticked level 6, and that allowed them to just continue that chase. But it was all about the original pick onto Seo Ziggs. GAM just a little bit sharper and a little bit more decisive. I think in an ideal world there, R7 actually hold the Ziggs and the Jhin bot so they can teleport and actually have the numbers advantage. When Jin's able to follow like that, it becomes a 5v5.
Yeah, in some trouble. Does have to flash out. Nice sidestep. That little juke there kept him alive. If he gets scooped back, he's dead because someone can go all out, and then Oddie's there to follow.
The mechanics on these guys are just accumulating into being bigger and bigger advantages. Sidesteps on the Shock Blast, sidesteps on those ganks, keeping them deathless, and Levi just boldly starting this Drake. Surely he has to run.
Yeah, gonna get spotted out, and he will be pushed off that as Seo is down here. R7 deciding, you know what? Maybe we can do it. So they do have that faster reset. Their bot lane is there, and Oddie has arrived, so it looks like it will be their dragon.
I mean, R7, maybe they'll get Soul again. It just seems to be their thing, where they get Soul in almost every game. 2 games in a row, the last one against 100 Thieves, and in that last game they had against GAM. But they will get the first Drake of this game, and it's looking similar to the story of Game 1, where GAM is taking a lot of risks in lane to hold on. Levi is off to the races, early Drakes for R7, but already a 1,000 gold lead for GAM, and just the very end of that Rakan W, followed by the Yone ultimate, start this fight off right for GAM.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was pretty nicely done, the initial engage, and Seo does a good job, sidesteps the Q3, trying to get out of there, but really, when there's that much committed to you, there's no shot.
And the kill onto Ziggs is what gave Levi enough experience to hit level 6, which I think is what allowed them to get the second kill of the fight onto Rell.
Well, he's feeling it. He is really feeling it, and GAM happy about that. No, it's a key moment in this game, opening up about a 1.5k gold lead from that play. And it's pretty significant. Kiaya, again, seems to be doing more than holding his own.
No flash.
Levi going in, but the fate is not sealed. Ooh. It is going to miss. And everything is a sidestep. Everything is just a dodge there. Both teams showcasing those mechanics.
Yeah, that's really huge by Keine there to not die to that Wukong gank. 2 ultimates burned. Doesn't even get more than half of his health. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we start seeing some lane swaps happening. Looking at the items here, tons of magic resist being built around by Summit, as I do an arrow instead of a circle. But if they swap the Yone into him, he'll be a lot more effective.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. I want to know how much first strike gold has actually been grabbed by Kiaya.
I can tell you.
I'm really curious to see how much gold he's actually been able to get, because he's been, every time I look up there, he seems to be procking it pretty much nonstop.
186.
Not bad, honestly. This just from the laning phase, like almost a kill, most of a kill. It's kind of not too bad. But already has that Leandries, so is on that spike here pretty darn early.
Yeah.
And we can see that it's likely going to be Blade the Rune King rush here for Emo, pretty standard.
Yeah, and the lanes have actually changed. Summit is up against the Jhin right now. I don't necessarily think EasyLove can threaten kills on the Jhin, but it definitely makes Kiaya more threatening with his full Leandries up against people who don't have a ton of MR already.
Yep. Yeah, there are some squishy members up there, absolutely. Elio coming up towards the top to try to reinforce the team. Oddie finally going to finish off those grubs. They never actually fully cleared those earlier grubs, so it is just the 3 that will be showing up here this game.
Grubless game. Not even a 4 grubber for anyone.
Nope. And we'll see if Summit can continue wave clear. I think he will. I mean, yeah, Jhin does physical damage. Yeah, he built MR, but like Jhin is on Swifties and a little bit of damage.
Safe.
So, yeah, I mean, Jhin, honestly, with this build that has become so popular with the Shiv into Rapid Fire, it's like you have so much move speed. It's so fun to play, but if you're not very ahead, you don't do a lot of damage. Is Keine going to be forced to flash there on the attempted engage from Elio? Comes in with the ultimate and is able to push him back and keep that pressure on.
I mean, another nice dodge there by Keine, but nothing is going to be won for it. That was a very low investment gank by GAM in terms of spells. They just had so much tempo to spend. I mean, I'm even looking at their waves right now. Nothing's pushing in against them. They're kind of safely resetting. They already have a pretty large gold lead. I kind of wonder where Rainbow 7 is going to make something happen for themselves, because they seem to be playing permanent defense.
I mean, it's tough, right? You know, Keine was doing so well in the 1v1, but he's been pressured a couple times, and forcing out a flash like that means you can't bully anymore. You have to be so careful. So, you know, that buys the time, that buys the space for Emo to be able to set up. They are going to try to look here as Lyonz. Crashdown will connect. Oddie is just in range now. The knockup is there, and Keine going to try to find it. Fate is sealed. Used to just build a little bit of space, and now the soul inbound coming through. Lyonz, nice sidestep, though. The jukes from these players are really good in this game.
I'll also say that a Jarvan without his first completed item and a Rell, they're not killing a level 9 Yone with Doran Shield. So even if they landed that engage, he didn't have to burn flash during his escape. And speaking of what we talked about in game 1, with GAM being really good at playing on their item spikes, when Levi goes back to base and completes the Sundered Sky, he deploys and he looks to make a play. So with this Dragon coming up, GAM's definitely going to be trying to make something happen.
Yep, Keine still down there, working towards his first item. Stacking up the tier, of course, and then there's going to be a tier on the Ziggs as well. Going to be working towards the Archangels. A little bit less of a spike, I think, than having that Ludens, but of course it does help you if you do get jumped on, and there is a lot of hard engage over on the other side when you're looking at Emo and Levi. So I do understand wanting to go a bit of a more defensive item here, as Kiaya, I think, mostly looking for the reset, but he's going to force a flash. Does he flash to follow? He might just have him. Didn't want to risk it. Interesting. Elects to hold onto the flash. I think he maybe could have got him with even just like one more harpoon. Yeah,
but about these Rumble nerfs, it feels like it might have been a player issue with the other Rumbles that we've seen, because Kiaya, he's looked super good. He's completely matching Summit's Gnar. He is going up against the full MR Ksante, playing on his spike pretty well. The Canic Rook Urn hadn't been completed yet, so he may as well go for the kill. Gets one plate, has to reset, but that buys time for the team to be able to take the Drake. I'm really impressed with the 4 games I've seen from Kiaya so far. 2 games on Aurora on day 1, and then also the Rumble so far today.
Especially when you, like you say, you're going up against Summit. You know, you're going up against the guy who is considered by far the strongest laner in his league. You know, such a good top laner in that 1v1, and hasn't been able to really get anything done in the 1v1. Got the Gnar in the last game, couldn't really create any sort of advantage. Now he's on that Ksante, and Kiaya is just using him as a target. I mean, farm first strike gold.
Yeah, he absolutely is. A little bit less farm overall for GAM solo laners this game, though. I'd say the Jayce has been pretty effective at its early job of shutting down the Yone a bit, but I just feel like it's going to be tricky to actually make use of this thing in the late game if they're not able to consistently get push, set up at objectives, and then kind of use the Ziggs Jayce to stop them from entering.
Yeah. And I actually like this more from Seo. He did actually just elect to finish the Ludens and sit on the tier. So
nice.
I like that more. You know, it is definitely a nice one-item power spike along with that Jayce, who now has the opportunity done, as you called out.
Big Jayce
is definitely strong. Has that completed item. Did cash out the call.
Kiaya just hit level 11, and he has his ultimate up. So this could be a Rift Herald fight.
Yeah, we'll see. R7 are there first, but Emo is coming. EasyLove as well as Levi are going to try to get pushed mid. That is a big shock blast, though, onto EasyLove, and he is pushed back very quickly by that. So Kiaya going to head back up the top and try to get the shove there.
Gotta respect the Rumble, though. R7 had to pull off as soon as they saw Rumble moving towards them. Kind of a standstill. Again, so much patience from GAM in this entire series.
I mean, it's not really what you would associate with them traditionally, but at the same time, clearly they know we can play around our power spikes, we can play to scale, they don't have to force anything if it's not there, and they're just playing out a really smart game. I mean, they had Emo down in bot side, who was matched up against this Keine, Rooker, and Ksante, which is a horrible 1v1 against this Blade of the Rune King that's now completed for him. So R7 moving over. This is getting low, though. We'll see if Levi can secure it. Eye gets popped, and they are going to be able to finish it off there. Now can they find any sort of a play? Elio's going to be looking. Lyonz flashes out, does crash down over the wall, but he's going to get interrupted. And now comes the curtain call there from the Jhin, as well as the equalizer, but not really able to find too much. Seo does walk back in, gets hit by the 4th shot. Is going to be okay. Summit is having to recall, and Oddie looking for the re-engage, but no one is there with him, and Oddie really went too far. Now Kiaya goes forward, and Emo finds him with the fate is sealed. Keine tries to get out, but he can't do it. It's a double kill for Emo, and it's GAM taking over off of a re-engage from Oddie.
Emo showing up with those 2 kills on the back, but I gotta say, Oddie is gonna want that one back. They were able to dodge the first engage, get the TP out of the Yone, and it could have been over, but they were just not ready for that re-engage, and it's that re-engage that ends up giving the 2 kills over to GAM. Watching it one more time, Elio just gets completely stuffed up on the top with Rakan there. Can't actually get onto the Rell, and you think, Rainbow 7 is actually just ult. Burn Jhin, burn Rumble ult. It's over. But let's see, what did Oddie think was going to happen with the re-engage onto Levi? There's no shock blast up for Keine. Seo's around the side. That's one of those instances where you feel like your team is behind you, but they're not actually there, and you end up running it down.
He just unfortunately wasn't aware, like you say, of exactly where they were. You know, thought he had an angle, but clearly did not. Ziggs not in position to follow up. You know, Jayce not in position to follow up. Ends up going in, dies, gives over a couple kills, and now it's an over 3,000 gold lead here for GAM, and they have been playing really well with the advantages when they can get them. Kiaya, again, proccing that first strike here, just trying to farm it up, working towards that second item as the Rift Maker. And EasyLove moving towards his second item as well, has that shift for quite some time, and is going to have that rapid fire pretty soon now.
Yeah, he's having a very strong game. I think he's happy to be on Jhin and not Misfortune this time. He can play a little further back. And there's also no Syndra to press a button on him and end his life. This is going to be a really hard game for R7 from this point forward, because if we think about the way their team comp needs to operate, they really need to wombo combo team fights with Ziggs, Jarvan, maybe even a little bit of Jayce Rell. But GAM has just been so good about spreading out, playing from a lot of different angles. So even if R7 tries to combo one person, like first they might not even kill that one person, but then second, the sustained damage on the other side from GAM is going to be just so much higher than what R7 has. Add that to the fact that they're behind in items and gold, and it gets even harder. Yeah,
absolutely. And then, you know, you'd say, okay, well, if we can't do that, what can we do? Maybe we could split push. But Emo's going to be really good at answering you in the side lanes. If he has 2 kills, even though there is this additional farm, the the plates and everything that Keine was able to pressure, he is not really that far ahead of where this Yone is. And one misstep, and you can easily lose that 1v1.
Absolutely. So Dragon coming up. It's a Mountain Soul this game. GAM is a little bit grouped up here, so maybe
nice
a window.
Shockwave Emo looking though, and he finds the Ziggs. Seo is gone already. His fate is sealed. GAM gonna drop the Herald mid. That's gonna be the tier 1 tower. That's gonna be the Ziggs. It should be the Dragon off the back of it, and the curtain call is gonna get opened up here. Looking for the damage on the back line, pushing them back. In goes Elio. Nice buffer though from Summit, and now going to drop the equalizer. That one's a bit of a whiff. Can they find anything more? He's going to think better of it.
No thanks. Go bot. Go all the way bot. Hit that chirp bot.
It's Levi drift. He's going to be driving down towards the Dragon.
He could hit the bot turret. Either way, there's still 4 people chasing after him, but GAM is going to be pretty fearless now. It's only physical damage dealers that are alive at the moment. They do respect the teleport of Ziggs, though, as they go bottom lane and actually don't take the Drake yet.
Yeah, they can't even really take the Drake. I mean, EasyLove has been split up from the rest of the team. He's getting pushed off, so now they're going to lose their mid lane tower. GAM kind of over-chased and are getting punished for it. Levi, though, going to look. He's going to go in. There's a Cyclone. Seo's in trouble again, but the minion wave was still there to tank up the tower for now. The W does miss, and now it's a TP coming in from the other side. It's going to be Kiaya rejoining the team. He has no ulti, but doesn't even need it. Kaine's in trouble. He's getting roasted. Lyonz is already dead to Levi, but they're trying to take one back. Sayo pushing him out. Summon arrives. The teleport's getting committed from both sides, but it is GAM again that get the kill and get out.
Man, you can really just see how strong Levi's Wukong is in this game state, because if he's the one that opens onto Ziggs and Sayo has to run instead of return fire, he's just armor stacking on Wukong through his passive, and the Jarvan, Jayce, Ksante are unable to touch him. So he, I think, even missed his W out of the Jarvan Cataclysm and then was still just able to flash out at the tail end of that fight. So he's very free with what he can do in this game, and GAM continue to put the pressure on R7.
Yeah, we can see it one more time. They were pressuring EasyLove, and Levi goes in and finds a game.
And it's pretty much 1v3. Sayo can't return fire onto Levi, so everyone else on GAM can just continue going forward, easily pick up the kill onto Rell. But really, this at the end is kind of what's damning for me, where he flashes out of the full combo from Oddie. Sayo's burning all of his cooldowns, and it's going to be tough for R7 to come back here.
I mean, you can see R7 know it. Their coaching staff looking incredibly stressed, a little bit dejected there. Obviously, coming off of a big series, they were feeling confident. They were in a really good spot. You know, at times, it felt like in game number 1, had a good draft. This second game, though, has got away from them pretty quick. And as you say, going to be tough to pull back, but we'll see if they can do it. The Dragon's still on the table here, and it's going to be GAM looking to move down and claim it as Emo splits top.
And I think they will be able to get this one. But GAM is not a team to rush Drakes. They are so focused on just accumulating pressure and gold. So yes, they have the ability to take Drake, but they're going to rather grab this standing gold first. Can't complain as they continue to extend their gold lead.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Emo's fine topside. You know, he seems to be completely safe. He has enough vision. It's a bit shallow, but he does have it through that river and has the push up on that topside. They have a ward deep in mid that knows where the Ziggs is. They have the mini wave there, so they saw the Jarvan. And they know they have the time. We'll take the tier 1, grab the dragon, no pressure.
And also just a reminder, as the stakes for this game, the winner advances to Swiss stage. And almost the added importance for Rainbow 7, because their region, the LLA, has never advanced out of a play-in stage. Losing this game doesn't mean that's an impossibility, though. And also because of how important their win was over 100 Thieves, there's like a bracket switch as they move down. So they actually end up playing, if they lose this, they will play the winner of Vikings and Pain Gaming. So by no means would their dreams of going to group stage be over. They're going to be very competitive, I feel like, in the next series if they end up losing this one, which it does look like GAM is in complete control.
Yeah, absolutely. Are sitting in a really, really good spot. You can see 2 items coming through for so many members. Stridebreaker done for Emo, which does make it difficult to kite him out. That Rapid Fire is done. Last Whisper completed for EasyLove. And we do have that Riftmaker has been done for a long time on Kiaya, but now has a Seekers on top of it. That's going to make him even more difficult to knock down.
And give you a first strike update. First strike catch. 489 gold.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It does deal a fair bit of damage too, and it scales pretty well into the game because it is that percentage increase of damage. So honestly, not bad. A kill and a half from your rune there, as he has created a very big lead for himself. 1.8K ahead of where Summit is now.
Just trying to think of what Rainbow 7 can do. I mean, currently now would have been their window to try and do something when you have both the Yone and the Rumble showing on waves. You know there's only going to be 3 people. But Levi's just freely going wherever he wants because it's only physical damage dealers that are in range to retaliate. They do about 600 damage to him, and in doing so then lose mid-push. So again, R7 is going to have to wait and look for their next play. Got people standing on a ward, though.
Yeah, they do spot them. They're going to go in, but are they going to regret it? We'll see. The TP's coming in from Summit as well, and we do have Levi trying to get out. The Ziggs all going to hit him. Keine trying to retreat. If the curtain is going to get called on the other side, Oddie trying to block, but they're trying to snipe through. He can't quite find it. Sayo pushes him back and interrupts him with the satchel charge on the side, but it doesn't matter because Kiaya's got a double. Emo's in the 1v1. He flashes out of the Q3, has the solo out. Can he finish off Summit? Not quite. Summit flashes back. Another Q3 is going to miss, and Emo's trying to charge it back up. Has it back and available. Neither solo laner able to finish off the other one. But that was big because Emo was able to interrupt the TP there from Summit. He couldn't join the play.
True.
And that really did change the math on things for R7, who thought they would have the man advantage.
They're going to get the Baron after that one as well. And if there was ever a moment that R7 thought they could get back in the game, it's when they see Wukong and Rumble sitting on a ward, and they bait them to engage, but it still ends in the favor of GAM. 8,000 gold, Baron buff, Drake advantage, and a couple of pushes away from the Swiss stage.
Yeah, they are looking so good at this point in the game. We can watch this fight one more time. You can see the angle that they're looking for here.
Yeah, I mean, Levi, Kiaya go straight in. They get a bunch of damage onto Keine, but then Ziggs retaliating, and maybe if the Ksante could come in with some type of flank, they could get onto Jhin or Levi in the back. It's still going to be pretty rough, though. That's a huge gold lead for GAM, and their original initiation was pretty good. So Emo there just pretty easily interrupts Summit, and then we saw the rest of that
live,
fight.
and we're back to Summit in trouble here. He's going to try to get out of there. The Ziggs all comes down to cover, and we'll have to see how much GAM can get with the Red Bull Baron power play here. They do have some good wave clear with the Ziggs, but they're going to get split, and they're going to get pulled apart here as Emo's down towards that bot lane. Summit looking for an angle on Levi, can't find it.
Emo freely taking that bot turret. I believe he's deathless this series on the Yone, so he's been playing extremely safe and efficiently. And look at that Rumble burn.
The curtain is going to get called. Seo has to flash out of there, and on the other side it's Emo. They're trying to CC him up, and they're trying to knock him down, and they got the kill. What can Summit get done here, though? He's CC'd up as well. Levi's into the back line. Summit's on the run. The DB's coming back from Keine, but is it even going to be in time? He TP's into his death, only to watch his base crumble. GAM get a big fight. EasyLove flashes forward, couldn't quite get in range for the forced shot there onto Lyonz. Thought he had the kill. It's up to the bot lane here from R7, but the deadly flourish is deadly indeed. It connects onto the Ziggs. They get the kill, and with that, they will secure the win. They will secure their spot in the Swiss stage. GAM do it. They're going to take the series 2-0 over R7. What a performance.
GAM have dominated in this play-in stage. Undefeated, back-to-back 2-0s, and they cruise their way to the Swiss stage.
It's GAM time indeed. The VCS is back in the Swiss stage here. A great performance from them. They were so decisive in the second game. They were not playing, this super up-tempo, super aggressive style, but when they found their windows, when they found their moments, they fully committed to it. They played 5 men as one unit, and they were really on the same page when they needed to be. It's some impressive stuff from them.
I mean, some quick maths. This was a 27-minute game. The kills were 12-1. That's less than half a kill a minute.
Yeah.
That's so much slower than the pace we would be used to seeing from GAM, but it was absolutely the right way to play the game. They out-pushed, out-macroed Raymond